It's like you'll watch certain people, but you won't watch others. It's one of those things because you feel like, they're just talking. But some people's words turn into actions, and then this is what happens.
There was also an administrative issue, like for the Texas shooting. He had a history of domestic violence, and his information wasn't there in the Central Criminal Information Database, which means if a person is in that database, he's not supposed to get any kind of firearms. But his information wasn't there, and he was able to get a firearm, and this bad incident happened. And it is also interesting to notice people are arguing about the fact that the good guys were able to stop him, but what about the bad guy with the gun? If the bad guy never got the gun, this wouldn't have happened in the first place. So,
yeah, I am prone to agree with Nishant that yes, his Facebook posts were atheist, and he's clearly very anti-Christian, and he had issues with the church. But this church was also targeted for a reason. Mm-hmm. It was his ex-wife's church. It was the church that his ex-wife's mother attended. And so I think the main thing that should have inhibited him was not like this Facebook post, because I think, in my opinion, freedom of speech is a pretty essential right. That's something that makes the United States a great country. However, I think the fact that he was in these administrative lists, the fact that he was listed, as a domestic abuser, things like that are what really should inhibit him from being able to have a firearm.
No, I was just gonna say oversight. It's just like, would you consider, okay, this would be considered some type of oversight, but would this be considered a major oversight? Like, he was court-martialed from the U.S. Air Force. That's a major oversight, to not make sure no one knows of it. And then if they would have made it known, he wouldn't have been able to get the gun. It's like, it's just like certain pieces or certain steps that could have literally just prevented this. Mm-hmm. Granted, I'm not saying that, maybe he wouldn't have found a gun some other place. I'm not saying that. But at least the steps that he took, everything that happened, is just seeing that one oversight. He was able to purchase the gun, and 26 lives were lost. 17 months to a 77-year-old. A baby. An elder. Like, it's just certain things, like, I guess I'm speaking more so of this, like, I just don't get it. I still will never understand it. And it's sad to say, but I'm pretty sure this is not the ending of something. And it's sad to say that, but Las Vegas happened. Oh, it was calm. Texas happened. What's next?
Yeah, I think that's important, that there definitely needs to be greater cooperation between agencies that are in charge of providing that oversight. I think if you look back at the Dylan Roof shooting, when he went to purchase his gun, he had an arrest. He had a misdemeanor because he'd been caught with drugs on him. And so when he went to purchase his gun, the gun shop actually did the right thing. They said, you have to wait, and they sent his information to the FBI, and they said, that he has this on his record, should he be allowed to purchase his gun? And the FBI has 3 days to respond. And I think that's something to debate, is whether, it only should take 3 days for the FBI to respond. But the gun owner the gun shop acted within the law. And so when the FBI hadn't responded within 3 days, Dylan Roof was then able to walk back in, purchase those guns, and a little short while later he went into a church and murdered people. And so they're definitely, beyond just regulation and laws in place, these organizations, be it the FBI, the military, whatever it may be, need to really provide that oversight and be doing their job. Because frankly, I think, some of that blood is on their hands, because there should have been that oversight.
And, besides, the details of having laws that keep, like, mentally ill from having guns and stuff, I think probably in our country, part of the problem is the fact that we have a very pro-gun culture that glorifies violence and glorifies guns, and so this is part of the problem as well, is this kind of culture.
Yeah, and I actually read, based on the NRA, because, the NRA, of course, within, the 2008 court case where they got what they wanted, but more than anything, they changed, our perception on guns. So, I think in the 1960s, around, 14 or 20% people believe that you didn't have the right to bear arms. Not everybody has that right, but now in a recent study, it was over 70%. So it was just that, of course,